Sanibonani Dumelang Bafethu, welcome to another episode of the podcast with Masingita, with your homeboy Masingita right here. And Bafethu, we are coming live from the Groove Back Studios, which is based on like Extension 1. And thank you so much for tuning in. First and first, Bafethu, let's do the right thing. Let's subscribe. Let's press the subscribe button. And secondly, let's also go to the notification bell and just make sure then that in everything that we do, we just get notified whenever you get this good content coming from our side, Buffett. And today it's going to be a wonderful one. I've got the main man, Upralisiho, and myself, obviously, Masingeta. And yeah, it's just going to be a general one. And you know how we do this each and every Tuesday. We host, a lot of people. But we said, no, what, it's month end. People are busy out there. People, they are doing what they do on a monthly basis. So it's month end. We said, you know what? No guest. Let's talk.
That's cool,
let's talk, Buffett. And first, another one. Thank you so much, guys, for for your support. The numbers are looking very good. They are very impressive. We are getting there. And it's not only because of us, Japan, but it's your support, guys. You are pushing this channel, we are getting these subscribers, we are getting this viewership. It's all because of you guys. And that's why we said, it's very important that we always remind ourselves that this is not our show, guys. It's basically your show, whereby we talk to one another, we interact. But then first, let's talk about what has been happening, man. Congratulations to Banyana.
The women's national team. Making the nation proud. Did you see the scenes at airport?
I did.
Man.
Hey,
bro, I'm being physical being there, but my circumstances didn't allow.
No, well done. And there's been a lot of jokes that have been going around, guys, about Banyana, which there has to be our national team going forward. They have to be our national team. And I'm thinking, it's not tuned in. Yes, they've done well. It's just that we need to motivate our fellow Bafana. What is your take, Lissu, on that one? Because I see much pressure, man. Eh?
But pressure in the lazy corner, this is the world of sports, young tall. And people also shouldn't forget the level of competitiveness between Itiskiabo Sister and Machita. It's on a different level. And we understand yes, Banyana, they've been trying for so long. How many finals did they get disappointed? Eventually they got that win. And Nakona didn't come easy because if Bobugele the second half, it was a game of two halves. First half using the Gucci, like a boxing match. Jab, Nyana, blocking attack. But then second half, which team wanted it more? And Banyana, they wanted it more. And also, they capitalized one mistake. I enjoy defense, the opposition, I understand.
Yeah.
So, but then also, like I'm saying, the hunger for Banyana was there because they've been disappointed for so many years. But eventually, when the time was right, they got it back.
Sure. They got it. No. Big up to the coach. Big up to, the whole team, Banyana. They did a great job. We've been going through a load shedding, Eskom, petrol prices, but they made us to forget about these things in just one weekend. They made us forget about these things, and it's very good, guys. As much as it's into the but with that win, they just reminded us, as South Africans, we are very powerful when we come together, Jaya.
All right, I see there's a comment that I go Facebook. I don't know why we don't congratulate Banyana without discriminating against Abafana. It wasn't a discrimination, guys. We were just, looking at the facts, competitiveness between the female side of soccer and the male side of soccer. It's not the same. Exactly. So we're not discriminating against Abafana. We're just showing the level of competitiveness is not the same. Exactly. So it's not discriminating, but we're just showing Banyana, they've been there wanting it more, and then eventually they got it. But however, we must take it because it's a fact, the women's soccer and the men's soccer side, the level of competitiveness is not the same.
Yeah,
so it
that
wasn't
is true.
discriminating. Malibongwe, basically discriminating. Okay, it was just stating our facts. But your suggestion is highly noted.
Thank you, Malik, and thank you so much for support, my guys. He's a very supportive guy, this guy. And we want you to be part of the show, especially when it comes to sports. But then, just to add on that, we were just saying in terms of the pressure, because the pressure manje Bafana, obviously, and we know what is happening with the Bafana. And one thing that I wanted to add as well is that what I've noticed with I don't know if maybe is it true, but based on the experience, I know very well there's no league currently. Banyana, or recall. Whereby there's PSL league or
there is, okay. But with the fact Guti, we have to mention the sponsor because that's how it is. Exactly. It's called the Hollywood Bets Super League. So that's the one Guti Abu Sister Badala Guyo. And the games there, they're also quite competitive. Guti, it's a pity that most of the games are not necessarily televised. And Nakona with them playing behind closed doors due to your COVID and whatnot. But hopefully the stadiums Guti now they're starting to be open. So maybe in this upcoming season, our stadiums are even more. Then we can go and support these ladies because I feel Guti, women's soccer is not getting the recognition that it deserves. Exactly. And also, Malibongo Uyabuzu Guti, guys, what's your take on equal pay? Because at this point in time, if you look at it, from whichever point of view in sports, the men are getting paid more than the women. And it's unfair because of these women are putting the same effort into the sports. It's just that
but even better effort. I mean,
because I'm saying at the same time, Guti, women's soccer is only now starting to to catch on because all these years we were exposed to Itiski Amachi, which is now the kind of sports we've been consuming in terms of soccer or football, depending on Guti Ugu, because I think it's not all the same. So we've been consuming the males side of soccer. Now that side about Tiski, Yabo Sesteri is now coming up, and also with this AFCON win for Yabo Sesteri, it gives a boost with Nama sponsors. Nabuti, they must now open their eyes and say, hey, let's not forget Yabo Sesteri because of now they're putting the effort, and also with winning the AFCON. I think the Safana that he had said, Guti, if Banyana win the AFCON, Bazotwala Amo bonuses are worth at 9.3 or is it 9.5 million? I'm not exactly sure on the price, but I think it was either 9.3 million. So on that, I think also it's a big boost to now. Now even sponsors, they must now start recognizing our system because of the work that they put there. It's not easy, guys. Mostly the Ekaya Ubigate eat skills, you'll be like, so the pressure, the thinking, all those things, guys, they contribute. So it's not easy. And again, congratulations to them because it's been a long time coming. They've been trying. So Malibong, we just hope Uguti, as time goes, our sponsors will also recognize our sister Nabo in terms of wages. They need to get more because I think when we were watching the other podcast MacG the other day, they were interviewing Uposha Mudi said since I retired, it doesn't value grand financially because of now she couldn't amass those finances in you look at Amachi Tamoa retire Gucci, when they retire from playing soccer, they live in large, even while they still play, they're buying expensive cars, wearing the most expensive labels, taking trips to expensive exotic islands, so it kind of shows the difference in class in terms of e-payment. So I'm just hoping Malbonga Uguti, something can be done with our sister now, but the effort they put in, even recognized financially.
Sure. And I think one thing that I want to add as well, guys, I think financial education is very important for my sports because currently what is happening, like you said, it's so sad, and it's pity that there's people that we get to be shown by media to say, okay, this is what is happening in Pilugabanbani, but we know that there's a lot of legends out there. Financially, they are no longer, okay. But the thing is, I think for me, it has to do with financial education. And those are the things that we need to start talking about it in terms of esports as a whole. And just to go back again in terms of soccer, I've been watching these celebrity tournaments. It was, I think, live on YouTube. I don't know what is your take, but I saw some love there. AKA and Casper.
That's one thing but to see at least the guys, I don't know if the beef is over completely or was it just over for that 90 minutes. But it was, a good thing to see Amachita coming together and putting the differences aside because it was towards a good cause. Not sure if maybe they were playing, raising funds for each charity or what, but it was a nice thing to see how much that they can actually be adults, but then push for the common good. But the match was good because now SK was an abu
and one is good. SK shouting that apparently it's a bro, but I'm not bring over and also like to give I'm big ups to a shout out to Junior Kanye Bafit. Yeah. In those are if Junior Kanye, the things that he was doing there you'd swear he's still in his prime like ball. So those are the type of people you can see what they were gifted. This thing is a God-given talent. Like saying you have to work hard for. It's a God-given talent like Abu Messi, because you know that age-old debate between Messi, no Ronaldo, which is better. Both guys are good, but they come from a different class in terms of quality. Ronaldo is proof of hard work does pay off, and then Messi is just proof of when you are born with it, you are born with it. You don't need to work hard because you have it already naturally. So, but again, going back to Celebrity Machita, it was a great exhibition match, guys. Honestly, the goals that were scored. Let go the shower Casper face. No chance. There was no way we could clear. So it was amazing, guys. It was amazing. So I hope we can get more content like that from them. It shows Gucci they do care about what they give back to our fans as supporter throughout these years. Yeah, man. No, man, I think that's one thing that it has taught me, on this celebrity matches. As long as but we don't take those things when we have to work, you understand? Because remember now, a ground in there, it was making sure which they work as a team. And this thing is also, telling us something in life, which as much we can have our differences out there, but when it comes to something that we need to work together on, we need to make sure that we leave everything aside, to your point. Then we come together and then we push. But man, I was so impressed. It was a nice setup. I was watching it through YouTube and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And shout out to Maskan, they've won. Maskan, that was dope, and yeah, man, guys, South Africa, it's an interesting country,
we live in a beautiful country, guys. It's just that, with so many things happening, it's hard to see one. We forget to appreciate the beauty that the country is. Politics aside, everything, the violence, everything that's happening aside. But, once you look at it from a different point of view, you're going to country, it's a beautiful country.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful country with a lot to offer, even.
That's true. And, talking about our beautiful country. Yesterday there was a speech from our president, and he was talking about the issue of the electricity state in our country. And I think he has mentioned a lot of things there, but I think what stood up for me, I keep asking myself as well, he mentioned that there are certain countries in the SADC region which they don't consume, or they don't need more electricity like we do. If you look at countries, you mentioned countries like Zambia, I'm not sure whether it's Botswana, but around the SADC region. And he mentioned that because of their economic activity, that doesn't require a lot of electricity. We might, export from those countries in SADC. So my question was like, if we export, are we going to pay for that electricity? And if we do pay, it's going to go back to us as consumers. And I don't know, guys, what your take, but I don't know, but that's my opinion. That something is happening in that SOE, which is Eskom. And I'm afraid, at the end of the day, it's going to go back to us as consumers. They're going to raise prices so that then,
they can also cover those costs. But it goes back to all of that. Whatever they do, eventually it's going to hit back to us as South Africans, because it's going to need us to take out more out of our pockets already with the strain that we're taking currently, with the current economy. Is slimmers. And then now, if Eskom now they want to outsource electricity, now what happens to their plans? They must have stable electricity supply. They're working on their power stations to stabilize them, because I think they had said they have a long-term plan, at least by 2030, we will no longer struggle load shedding, lights on and off. Because right now, we can't wait for that long solve the inking case. We have to have alternative means of keeping the lights on, either with solar or generators, but somehow we have to find an alternative way while they're still figuring out who to because the longer they take, the more expensive things will be, because power stations, they fail, they have to fix generation which are being offline, they have to put them online. So all those services they also somehow need to get the house in order. Yeah, but because I mean the limited load shedding, it impacts businesses, and now the small businesses cannot survive.
They can't.
Because without electricity they cannot render services, and without them being able to render services, imali angeni, they can't pay their bills, which is rent. So eventually now if you can't pay rent, now now you have to relocate. So the effect that this load shedding has, it's on a bigger scale. I'm not sure if maybe a lot of people tend to recognize that, but it's on a bigger scale.
And
suffer.
And the hurting part, my man, I was looking at it, you can even have your alternative, as having a solar, as having whatever, a gas and whatsoever. But what's the irritating part is that you can solve the problem at your own home, but out there you can't, because remember, if there's no electricity, there's no network.
Yes.
And if there's no network, everyone can just do whatever they want to do at your own space there. They can, they can do everything, but there's no network. You can't even call, because remember, even those towers, there's a network. They are just down because of lack of electricity.
Because they do have backup batteries that have to kick in once load shedding is shy. But now we have a problem whereby now MacG battery now, which are supposed to be backup power for network towers. So now at the point in time, it's because of now there's no backup powers at those network towers. Hence why load shedding, we suffer from no having network. So it's a ripple effect, because now abantu abaphandayo bayaphanda bayothenga something, because now they're also trying to feed their family. So like in the way Eskom, with them not being able to give us constant electricity supply, it becomes a ripple effect. The economy as well, it adds on top of that. Exactly. So a big mess. So everybody's trying to survive by any means necessary at this point in time. So that is the sad part, Gucci. The ripple effect that it has, load shedding, it's on a far bigger scale than people actually realize.
Sure. Yeah, man. No, it's interesting. And, again, from that speech, he mentioned that, the electricity that we're currently getting, we're not getting 100% from the power stations. We're basically getting 60%. So there's that gap of 40% that is still there, that, we're not getting. And because of that, that's why we have issues of load shedding. Sure, it's bad, my man. It's bad. And, on top of that, the interest rate have increased. You saw that.
Yep.
The Reserve Bank have announced the interest rate have increased by 0.7%, 0.75 rather. So it's basically, it's always been 0.5 base, but now it's 0.75 base.
Yeah.
And what is that saying? Do you know, guys? What it's saying is that your installments are increased. I think that was effective from last week Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Your installment has increased. If you were paying 1,000 for whatever reasons, now you are paying 1.2 or 1.1. It has increased.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's something that, it's going to happen. Because, again, like I always said on this channel, what is currently happening between Ukraine and Russia. Boss, the price of oil.
That's why we have price of petrol skyrocketing like this.
Boss.
Because sometimes when demand is high, obviously the prices have to go up so that they don't run out of stock. Because it's that law of supply and demand. The more Indo is in demand, the supply obviously is going to increase. But obviously supply increases with the price, so that people don't get to consume faster than they should. Because if they do that, eventually we'll have a point. So if we go a point whereby MacG, we run out of petrol. And now running out of petrol will bring a standstill to a lot of things, and it's a big risk. Which now the economy itself also can collapse due to that.
Sure.
Yeah, but so it's everything that's happening, guys. It's a ripple effect from Eskom load shedding. Petrol prices going up because of what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. So it's bad, man. It's bad. It's very bad.
And the issue of interest rate, man. I was having a conversation with this other guy, man. Was telling me that I was paying my bond at this, this was my installment prior from the interest rate. Remember, the interest rate, they started increasing from January. They've been increasing up until date.
Yeah.
And that person, when they shared their financial, obligation as to what they are currently paying. Yo, bruh, there's a huge difference.
Because now we're at a stage where by now you have to prioritize the most important things. Because I had a conversation with another guy spanning a few weeks back, Gucci. Pelamasek saw you prioritize paying bond yendlu, ukuthi banga kick it out, and then ama accounts as well lapse, but then at least you get a chance to catch up on those. Exactly, but indlu it's something that you cannot afford not to pay, because now once you get kicked out, you become homeless. Now that's a whole another effect food. So with everything that's happening, the economy is very bad, guys. It's affecting everyone, even to the person ohola imali encane. Taxes have gone up. I think from like I say Orange Farm to Jews, it takes away 30 rand.
But local is 12 rand. Local is 12 rand.
Yeah, but so I want to this thing, it has a ripple effect. So imagine let's say for example you're earning something like 4,000. Yeah, but M savings, 4.5 for that matter, and then you have to spend a certain amount on the transport. I mean, almost half of your salary will go to you going to work. Yeah, but so manje so sebenzela uya emsebenzi now asakhona ukuthi uthenge ukudla okuyinafu endlini. You have to sacrifice abantwana mele baye esikolweni, mele uthenge impahla, you have to pay school fees. There's a lot that goes with this, so the effect is very bad, guys. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, talking about the effect being bad and terrible, I mean, there's the shootings as well at the taverns, bro.
Like I was what's motivating people ending love and decide which has in your cause havoc. Having a good time. And then ufike nje ulethe ihavoc enjani, because you look at what happened in Orlando, like the death toll was now sitting at like what 16.
Sure.
Yeah, but people just came from nowhere because now also the country is now starting to be dangerous and accept safe, because now even Mohamba Ipsu uyazbuza okay, what's going to happen. And you can also imagine umuntu ukuthi makasebenza and they knock off like emsebenzini on their way home, what's the person thinking? Like even if it's just a 2-minute walk from like they're contemplating what am I going to make it home? Because these shootings are random. It's not like they focused in one area. Yeah, but they didn't at home, there were shootings again. So another thing happened. So that's what I'm saying. With these shootings are random, so you don't even know when is it going to happen. Like it's you don't even know what to think. You can't even plan. So now it costs to umuntu manje umakala chafa for clock 6 o'clock because it's still winter. Umakala pamnyama so sending because now you are afraid ukuthi ingayenzakala kuyo. So in no way at the moment I wouldn't say any place is safe. Ayikho ngathi is safe because even the policing, we don't see a visible policing whereby maybe even indlula lapho nalapho yabona. So without the police also doing visible policing, it's easy for these criminals to target in the way because buyers would die. They hardly ever there. So also they're at an advantage because they know they can do whatever. They still have it's wood babalege, and then no one will know what happened, because even now with the shootings that happened in Orlando, they still haven't caught anyone. No leads, no nothing.
And it's so sad because I was watching this this program on I think it's on ETV, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So they were talking that some of the people abahlali Orlando, they were complaining that the police station there, it's always been the issue. There's like to your point, police visibility, it was never there. And when that shooting occurred, people went to the police station to ask for help, and they said the time that they took to come
to
there
respond.
I mean, the response time it was work.
Because when I was speaking of the police station being sent away to the other day, and something had happened, so we had to go a police station to report the matter. Dude, the service we got, it wasn't pleasing. Orlando police station. Now I can say it from first-hand experience because I was there a few weeks ago. I'm complaining because the service a police station as Orlando, it's not good at all. Those people are not saving the community. So the community value, it's valid because I was there a few weeks back talking from first-hand experience. I mean, how can as ihata umuntu yafika uzoreport a case and they have the firearm that was pointed to them, whether the firearm is working or not, but it's still pointing on firearm, which in my knowledge it's a crime. So we have figured when the statement you give them the firearm that they used to point at you, and then a few days later by keep and then but a statement circle is not strong enough. But who are they to judge a statement circle is strong enough to keep this person in custody or not? And if they must follow due process, a court, then the magistrate will determine whether I'm a married to a case, our keep without bail, or a case it dismiss you. But the police themselves, a police station, they made that decision. To know statements are weak. Therefore, the guy is back going to terrorize other people again because of what? The incompetency of the police at Orlando police station, which is very bad.
Sure.
So you cannot afford to be having Amapoesa who are supposed to protect and serve doing such things. Was what they're doing. They're no longer protecting and serving. They're just there with ignoring the same people they are supposed to be protecting and serving.
But you know what comes into my mind? I'm asking myself, when they do the training there, maybe we need to get someone from the policing department just to give us an overview as to when they do the training there, what is happening, you know, in terms of what sort of training it's taking place there, so that then we do understand. Because for me, I don't know whether maybe whatever that is happening on the training field, it's totally different from what is happening in our communities. I don't know.
But again, you raised a good point, like in terms of training, the SA police. You know, what somebody once asked me a question, why is it that a person who's going to practice law, meaning I'm a lawyers,
yes,
for 4+ years, and then go practice articles before they can be an attorney, a judge, or whatever the case may be. They go for years studying law, and a graduate, it doesn't mean they stop. They still continue to study law because laws change. Laws change almost every now and again, so they always have to keep themselves updated. Then they go for 1 year training, and then you deploy that person to go protect and serve. And they have to know the law. Some of these police officers, guys, don't even know the constitution itself. And they're governed by the constitution. We live in a country where we are governed by the constitution. But most of these police officers out there, they don't even know the constitution relating to their jobs. They're practicing the wrong things just because of now they have a gun and a badge and wearing a police uniform. Whatever they say, you must listen and take. But now, if you do know your rights and you know the constitution, you can challenge that. But must always challenge now they say you're being disrespectful. But then you're not being disrespectful. You're just putting the facts with no. But this is how you should be doing it. Exactly. You should be handling this situation like this. Because I don't know if also are they being taught to de-escalate situations, because of instead of de-escalating, some of them they escalate the situation even worse. Because you can even look at what happens in America, you know, with the cops and everything that's happening that side. It seems like mostly they police black people more than they police any other race in America. And also most of the time now, instead of de-escalating, they're always escalating situations whereby now people end up being shot for no apparent reason. A person they say no, I felt threatened. But when you look at it, no form of weapon wear, but that person was shot dead, you know, shot 10, 11 times. So I don't know, Guti, is it fair for people who want to join the SAPS to be trained for 1 year, then Baba deploy, and then that person, you know what I mean? And that person is dealing with Mteto or change almost every other day. But lawyers study more years to be qualified to stand in front of a judge and, you know, represent people. But they just study for 1 year and then that's it. So we need to know, Uti, after that 1 year training, is the continuous training that's happening, and how effective is that continuous training now? You understand? Because right now the things that we're seeing, they're shocking for the police department. They're very shocking.
I think the best thing to do, Mvana, we need to organize that. We need to organize. Just get someone from the policing department just to tell us, Uti, what type of training is happening in the field. And then we know that they need to protect, but like you said, there's a lot of factors that we've observed as a public, and I mean, there's a lot that is happening. But I think we just need to find a way and see what is happening there. And let's just celebrate something, guys. MacG and so on. They went to overseas.
Big up to the gents. These guys are doing big things for people like us, our follower in the business doing the podcast. You know, they're doing big things, guys. Big things.
Shout out, MacG and so on. Podcast and chill, guys. No, we are very inspired. These guys are pushing. You know, I was listening to his interview, MacG, the old one. I think it was done 6 months back in the SAPC.
Yeah.
It was talking, bro, that this guy, the way when he started, it was tough. But he kept on doing it. And it's got more than 30 people that he has employed
through his
through the
podcast.
podcast.
Because this is where it shows Gucci, Rome was not built in a day. You know, you don't just shoot it all the way up. You have to lay a foundation, ubege istina one by one, and then eventually you'll get to the place where you want to be. So MacG, it's not like we don't know, we haven't documented his struggles from the time he left YFM. You know, from the time he left YFM, he struggled to be where he is right now. So his success at MacG, guys, it's not just something that came on a silver platter. He worked hard for that. So with the things that he's doing, the great things that he's doing, you know, even with his alcohol brand, he's doing big things. Big up to that guy.
I know they're doing good, man. And I think, like you said, they do inspire us to, you know, giving us a wake up call that if you really need something, you need to push. You need to deliver. You know,
one other thing, Master Kumangama postcard, South Africans, please stop this cancel culture. It's not right. They rely on these platforms to put bread on their tables. So when I'm out here behind your phone, hiding behind your keyboard, and saying certain things about forgetting which those people, they also have families to support. So this cancel culture, guys, we must stop this cancel culture. It's please, not healthy. It's not healthy, guys. Please, let's stop it because it's like now we're hating on people who are trying to make a difference out there. Exactly. So this cancel culture, I pay guys. We don't need that. We don't need that.
No, my friend, that's it for today, my friend. With podcast with Masingita and this guy over here, cameraman wami, the one and only Mr. Lisijo Paparitu. Mafetu, thank you so much again. It was a lovely show. And guys, let's keep on subscribing. Let's keep on watching the content. And guys, let's be positive and push as much as we can. And guys, please remember, it's the hashtag, the business script, hashtag take knowledge, hashtag ungabnovalo, right here on podcast with Masingita.
Again, guys, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so we can give you more content.
Thank you, Mafetu. We are out.
Over and out. See you in the next video, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, show.